Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, John Sande IV is here. He's the principal with Argentum Partners, here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Liberal D.C. spending is making life in Nevada painfully expensive.
It's a killer, it really is. Groceries, everything.
I have no choice, I gotta get gas one way or another.
Not only gas prices, everything is going up.
Senator Catherine Cortez Masto joined fellow D.C. liberals voting for trillions in government spending, causing inflation and higher costs, making it harder for Nevadans to get by. Tell Senator Cortez Masto to stop voting for reckless spending and start fighting inflation.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Events Center in Las Vegas. Host meetings and events on 2 floors. Stay in luxurious rooms and suites. Unlimited branding opportunities. Regional Italian cuisine by Chef Mark Segrisi. Flexible event spaces. Full buyout options. Visit ahernhotel.com today.
I'm here at the Carson Valley Inn in Minden with Joey Whitaker. Entertainment here at the Carson Valley Inn is extraordinary.
Yeah, super proud of the TJ's Corral, our outdoor venue, about 1,500 seats. We've had first-class entertainment out there. We've had Merle Haggard, we've had Chris Young, we've had Lee Brice a couple times, we've had Pat Benatar, Joan Jett, who's in the Hall of Fame. We're real proud out there, and it's just a great time. Watch CarsonValleyInn.com and grab those tickets early. It's not a long way to get away to the Carson Valley Inn.
Pro Group Management offers workers' comp services to a growing number of industries. As businesses grow and change with the times, the need for a solid workers' comp program must be flexible and up to date. The evolving nature of regulations can make staying ahead of complex tasks challenging. But Pro Group Management simplifies the work so your industry can move forward and succeed. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're always pleased to welcome back to the program John Sande IV. He is principal with Argentum Partners. Pleasure to have you back, sir.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
All right, so let's start out with a nice, easy topic, the Supreme Court.
Yes.
So, a lot of people are confused about the Supreme Court and their rulings. And I think, first of all, can we establish that the majority at this point are constitutionalists, that they look at the Constitution as it was written back in the day. And if a law that comes to them does not pass muster with that, they're going to turn it over.
I think that's a very succinct way of putting it. They're looking at the document and what rights it bestows upon all the Americans, what are unalienable rights that are found in the Constitution and its amendments, and if those, and they feel it's the court's job to protect those rights and not expand the document itself. That's the job of Congress. Congress has the authority to promote policy, and the Supreme Court justices seem to be taking less of an active role in politics and trying to keep the document intact as it was. And I think there's a legitimate argument as to what the role of the Supreme Court should be. And I definitely, as an attorney, somebody who has studied constitutional law, both sides have some very good points. It's not an easy topic at all, very nuanced.
And the point you made, which was where I was rolling into, which is this is the problem for Congress, is because they are dysfunctional and not getting things done. If the Congress, ergo the people, don't like the decisions being made by the Supreme Court, Congress can pass new laws, right?
Exactly right, and I wish that, and maybe we'll use your show as the start of this, I wish media would pay more attention to that, because that is exactly what it is. I think the people that are upset are justifiably upset, but they're directing it at the Supreme Court, which, I could look at it and say, this ruling is wrong for whatever reason, and there's credibility to that. I personally feel stare decisis. I mean, this was something that if you read. And also, I'd encourage your viewers, if they're watching the show,
By the
they're
way,
probably
for
educated.
those that don't understand that means settled law.
Yeah, settled law. It's Roe v. Wade had passed, and it had been affirmed subsequent to that. And courts should give deference to rulings that came before them. And so, to overturn a case is a big deal for the Supreme Court, and that's why this is so controversial. But where I was going with that is, I think if people are angry, I think they should be more angry at Congress than they should be at the Supreme Court. The Congress had 50 years to codify Roe v. Wade into law, and rather than doing that and taking hard votes, they chose to just let Roe v. Wade sit on its own, and here we are today. Congress still has the ability to pass protections for women and protect the women's rights, and I think they should do that. It's a hard vote. It definitely is not going to be easy. This is a controversial topic, but that's what Congress and why we elect people to represent us to pass those laws. And again, I think I see both sides. Like, I look at the Supreme Court, and it's not. I don't want the Supreme Court 9 people passing laws or settling laws that are going to govern all of us. That's why we have our 100 senators, our 436 representatives to go and make those laws. And they haven't been doing that. And the Supreme Court, I think, has shown a flashlight on that. And hopefully the people will take that anger and direct it towards Congress rather than what was a Supreme Court ruling.
All right, so you bounced it back to the states. The states have abilities as well. Mm-hmm. And so in Nevada, we have, at this point in time, settled law regarding abortion rights, for example. Was what the governor said the other day actually pushing the ball further down the road in terms of protecting women's rights, or was it just in as much a political point of view to be able to say, hey, if you want to come to Nevada, we'll take care of you?
Oh, wow. You never ask easy questions. No, I don't think...
There was someone that would disagree with you on that, but that's okay.
Okay. Well, that might be true. So you're right. And I mean, that's part of what, the Supreme Court did, was it acknowledged the state's ability to regulate through their police powers this. And Nevada, fortunately for us, we have, in my opinion, right, this is a controversial topic, so I don't say for everybody, but fortunately, under my opinion, I'm glad that we have protected the women's rights in state law. And so that's right. If you are in Mississippi, if you're in some of these states that are going to ban abortions, you have the ability to come to Nevada and seek your health treatment. And I think the governor is acknowledging that. I mean, whenever the governor does anything, people are going to attribute politics to it. So, but I think he's acknowledging what the state law is right now and educating people and telling people that we need to be steadfast to protect that.
And that's really his job.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so now let's bring in the other side of all this, which is this now becomes a huge fundraising deal for both sides.
Absolutely.
What are you seeing? People who are watching and listening, if they're not involved in this world of politics, don't really understand what goes on behind the scenes. What kind of pressure is there on firms like yours and others that you're seeing on both sides of this issue to donate money to these causes?
Well, again, it is kind of behind the scenes baseball. I will be honest. I mean, some of our clients are, I don't want to say activists, but they care about policy that affects people personally. And so some of our clients do have a feeling like, for example, one of our big clients really cares about the problems with drug use, right? And they spend a lot of money to try to curb drug use and abuse, and so they're passionate about that, and so they will contribute money appropriately to do that, even though their business interest isn't really impacted by that. So we do have clients that care very passionately about women's rights and protecting that, and so we probably will have some clients that will ask the question before they make commitments to people: is what's your stance on women's reproductive rights and abortion in particular? And they will use that to influence their decisions as to who they support and who they don't. But they have to also keep in mind that they have a business interest, and that also has to, it's a prevailing consideration in who they want to support. And so it's it just depends. It's client by client, it's person by person, and we'll see that. And I know this is going to be a very hot topic moving into the next session, before that into the next election, and so it will be front of mind, and our clients will likely have an opinion one way or the other.
You know, it's interesting you bring that up because I remember years ago there was a gaming company that was growing here in Northern Nevada. And the CEO used to appear on my programs on a fairly regular basis. And at a certain point in the growth of the company, he said to me, I really can't come on your show anymore because we have shareholders who all believe in different things, and it would be detrimental to the stock price of our company for me to come on and voice an opinion, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah, especially when you become that high profile. Your opinions carry a lot of weight, and you're right. I mean, look at our country right now. We don't agree on many things. People have very individual beliefs, and unfortunately, sometimes it's hard for people to take somebody's beliefs and leave it at that, and not ascribe it to whether they like the person or not. The person is separate from their beliefs, and beliefs change. They come and go. Opinions change, and but some people don't see it that way.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be back with John Sande after this timeout.
Liberal D.C. spending is making life in Nevada painfully expensive.
It's a killer. It really is. Groceries, everything.
I have no choice. I gotta get gas one way or another.
Not only gas prices, everything is going up.
Senator Catherine Cortez Masto joined fellow D.C. liberals voting for trillions in government spending, causing inflation and higher costs, making it harder for Nevadans to get by. Tell Senator Cortez Masto to stop voting for reckless spending and start fighting inflation.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org. Hi, I'm Renee Summer, our digital news anchor here at 7 at 7. Watch our streaming nonstop newscast immediately with your mobile phone. 7 at 7 is the new way for you to get every bit of local news you need in just 7 minutes. Breaking news, local neighborhood news, weather, and sports are just a click away. Reporters bring you all of what's happening in the Valley. From Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, and more. Get every bit of local news you need from the RJ and LVRJ.com.
Ahern Rentals began as Signal Gas Station on Las Vegas Boulevard. Founder John Ahern grew the business by offering rentals. His son Don built on John's legacy, growing Ahern Rentals into the largest independently owned American rental company with 89 locations in 30 states. Don also brought his experience and vision to equipment manufacturing with Extreme Manufacturing and Snorkel. Today, Ahern Rentals continues to bring its family values to a new generation. Learn more at ahern.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with John Sande IV. He's a principal with Argentum Partners. Okay, so let's talk about Stop the Steal. So, in our primary, a whole bunch of Republicans got elected. Some of them are complaining that the election was false, even though they won. So, in my mind, if you think you were falsely elected, maybe you should resign. I mean, how does this work? How can you win and then complain that the election was rigged, unless you're complaining it was rigged in your... I don't get it, John.
Irony is interesting.
It's my favorite topic.
It's like, yeah, it's hard to balance that and make logical sense. But when the whole Stop the Steal movement, really, you put yourself in a really tough spot because you're running for office and you're questioning the integrity of elections. And then if you do win, which is the situation many of these Stop the Steal Republicans have found themselves in, is your point. It's funny. How do you jive it? And if if the system was wrong when it elected Biden, then it must be wrong when it elected you. I don't know. I don't know how you fix that.
When I remember talking to Harry Reid about UFOs because he put $8 million into a fund through Congress to investigate these high-speed craft that Marine pilots were seeing that were just moving at these phenomenal rates of speed. And you can Google it and read all about it in the New York Times, covered it extensively. And we talked about it on the show. And he was always fine with talking about it. He said, as long as you don't talk about little green men, because that was not the direction he was going in.
Right.
And he, of course, was good friends with Bob Bigelow, who's a big aerospace person down in Southern Nevada. The thing about this was that was kind of peculiar to me was, I said to him, so, obviously, you would know about what's going on at Area 51. Are there aliens out there? He said no. I said, would it be revealed if there were? He said, Congress can't keep a secret. Right?
Right.
So it's could there be a nationwide conspiracy of every Secretary of State, of every election officer? I mean, it just does, because it's too many individuals. It's not one organized thing.
Yes. Yes.
And
exactly.
How would you keep that a secret?
You couldn't. You really couldn't. I mean, and that's the fallacy of the Stop the Steal movement is in order to have a conspiracy of this size and that many people, and you're not talking, I mean, I don't even know how you would keep that many people together because, a lot of these election officials are different parties. They're different, like you said, and to keep it something secret like that would be, it wouldn't be possible. It's obviously impractical, but I'm venture to say it's nearly impossible to do that. And so,
What do you think as an attorney? Because I talked about this with the DA. When, if somebody has a claim, I'm fine with that, but I do require evidence.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's whenever you see it, it's like, well, provide the evidence that this has happened. And they say, well, there's evidence, or it's all anecdotal, or so-and-so said that they saw this or this and that, and there's a lack of evidence. And that's why you can't give the movement credibility for a number of reasons. I mean, look at the outcome of this election. A lot of Republicans won, right? The people that are saying that our elections are stolen. Well, if it was stolen this time, then how did you win? You proved the point when you asked the question. And I think we need to move on. Obviously, it's a good political tactic. I mean, if you're running for office, it seems these days you can say anything, whether it's based in fact and reality or not.
Yeah, but that's always been true.
It's always been true, and it's continuing to true. And as long as you can get people to believe it, maybe it's a succeeding tactic for elections. But I do
who
think
wins though? I mean,
I agree with you.
That's the part that
agree with you.
confuses me. Is that if you say that it's all illegal, it's all corrupt, then at the end of it, who wins? I don't see who the winner is.
Well, I think for the Republicans that are engaged in the Stop the Steal, it's the narrative that our political election system is broken. You need someone like me to come in and fix it, right? And so that worked for the most part. A lot of these people, that was their number one issue, is that, hey, election integrity is my number one issue. And a lot of those Republicans did get elected. Now, what are they going to do to fix it? I mean, I doubt they're going to pay much attention to it. They got their political agenda, their goal. They got elected, and so for those people that did that, I suppose it was a successful strategy.
Okay, so unless the media becomes very aggressive at re-election time and says, "Well, what did you accomplish in cleaning this up?" they're not going to be able to say anything.
Yeah, I agree. And then there's going to be the next thing, right? It's like, okay, well, you need to keep me in office, or you need to elect me during the general so I can fix this. The election, we've taken care of elections. Now let's move on to the next hot topic.
You mentioned irony earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, the irony to me is that the majority of district attorneys and sheriffs in our state are Republicans.
Yeah.
And certainly conservative Republicans. So it seems, again, ironic. Let's take another break. We'll be right back.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
Southwest Specialties has been making the homes and businesses of Nevada beautiful for more than 20 years. Their experienced designers and craftsmen create the walkways, backyards, water features, and a variety of outdoor cooking areas that add curb appeal and value to your investment. Call today or visit them at their website and see how they can make your outdoor spaces special. Southwest Specialties, creative, distinctive, beautiful.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years.
Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with John Sande IV. He is principal with Argentum Partners. So Joe Lombardo wins the field.
Yeah.
And, you know, what I like in elections is when it's not close in the victory, so that you can't argue about, you know, whether they won or not. I mean, if it's 20,000, whatever it might be, as long as it's not 10 votes and we got to draw cards. What do you think? Was it just the sheer volume of dollars that went into the Lombardo campaign? Because he's obviously very, very well known in Southern Nevada,
right. Not
so well known in Northern Nevada, and not particularly exciting in rural Nevada.
Yeah, so it was what you said. I think really, if you wanted to ask the question how it was, he's been elected in Clark County for so many years. I mean, his name has been on the ballot. People know him. I think he's pretty well respected, especially after October 1. So he started with a huge advantage in the primary. And I think, you know, as a political observer, I think it's important to give credit where credit is due. You know, a lot of people, I think, laughed and mocked at Joey when he got into the race. He ran a tough campaign. I think he went to the rurals. He did all the things he needed to do, and he, you know, came probably closer than I thought he would have against Joe. In part because there was, and the other thing is too, is that I think, you know, the Dean Hellers and the Lees and they stole a lot of votes from one another, right? I don't think. I think there was no second contender because there was a lot of, you know, really good other candidates that people voted for, and so that was an advantage for Lombardo as well. But, you know, I think most everybody that looked at that race when Joe got into it over a year ago said, you know, he's the front runner, and it just continued that way. Nobody was able to really gain any traction to challenge him. I
have to give credit to Joey Gilbert in one sense that nobody worked harder than he did. I mean, that was a phenomenal campaign. But I think it also highlights that social media is not the major driving force at this point in time, and may never be, because paid advertising through broadcast networks and cable networks certainly was the difference here.
Well, I don't know if I would agree that it may never be. It probably will be, but you know, the people that vote typically are older, and they still watch broadcast TV. So if you want to be successful in elections in today's environment, you still have to be on broadcast TV, no doubt about it.
You know, I want to quote Dick Clark, the famous entertainer, who I got to interview 30-odd years ago. And he was talking about cable TV at the time when we were going from 12 channels to 40 channels. Yeah. And he said the future is going to be hundreds of channels. He didn't envision thousands. But he said the pie is going to get bigger, the slices are going to get smaller. Mm-hmm. So it just makes it harder and harder to be able to get that base as against the Super Bowl or Monday Night Football or Thursday Night Football or whatever, where you have such a vast audience at one time to be able to reach, versus little snippets here and there.
Which is so why in a statewide election money is so important, because you're exactly right. The pie is cut into so many different slices, and yes, you can buy time on one network or this network. You need to be able to buy time on everything, so you can touch and reach as many people as possible and get them to know your name and know your position on issues. It's just extremely expensive, and it's only getting more expensive because that pie does get bigger, but the slices get smaller.
Okay, can you believe that we just turned into July, but in June, the number of political campaigns that were on the air after the primary, national campaigns?
I was shocked, right? Usually we
It's
get a little bit of a
money.
break. Yeah, usually we get a little bit of a break, but the day after the primary, the national campaigns, they a lot of political action committees but that's just a forecast of what's to come, right? I mean, we got Laxalt and Cortez Masto is going to be just a huge, it's a huge race. It has tremendous implications for our national, where Congress settles, and a lot of people are interested in it.
You'll know how much money is in it if Newsmakers content shrinks down to like 5 minutes and the other 25 minutes is all advertising.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be driving a Rolls Royce.
You might be.
I doubt that's going to happen. John Sande, always a pleasure to have you here, my friend.
Yeah.
So much more to talk about. Come back soon.
I will. Happy to be here.
And we'll be right back. I'm here at the Carson Valley Inn in Minden with Joey Whitaker. One of the things I love about the Carson Valley Inn here in beautiful downtown Minden is CV steak. I have eaten here so many times. Tell folks what they can expect when they come here to eat.
It's a beautiful room, great service. We have certified Angus beef, seafood, lamb, a great range of appetizers, and wonderful desserts. Jean-Michel's done a great job of selecting some beautiful wines for us. The customers love it, and we've got a great selection of cocktails as well. It's not a long way to get away to the Carson Valley Inn.
A bird's eye captures its surroundings at different heights. At Brian Culpa Photography, we can make your imagination soar over buildings, parks, cityscapes, and beyond. Brian's images tell the story and get the job done. If you need a new perspective to tell your story, contact Brian today. Brian Culpa Photography. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com.
Safety is the #1 priority for the trucking industry. Over $7 billion a year is spent on technology like this electronic eye that will apply the brakes automatically. But the most important factor for safety is the truck driver. These hardworking men and women who safely move over 70% of our nation's freight and 94% of Nevada's. We thank you because trucks move America forward.
Nevada Newsmakers Studio is located at the headquarters of the Nevada Trucking Association. Motion and purpose are a truck's greatest virtue.
As always, you can watch Nevada Newsmakers 24 hours a day at nevadanewsmakers.com. You can also check our archive going back to 2005 on our website. Again, nevadanewsmakers.com.